Hi, I'm Arnisha Tipton, and I'm a senior communication studies major with a double minor in media literacy and women's studies. Over the course of this semester, I was in a class for independent women's studies. Now, the thing I decided to focus on for this semester was women and relationships. Now, a lot of my research and interest came from when I had the opportunity to go to China last summer in 2016. When I was there, I fell in love with the culture. Going into it, I thought it was going to be so much different. We're in two completely different worlds, and I just thought it was going to be so different. And in some aspects, it was, and not negatively, but it was just something different. So something that really caught my eye was the relationships and the relationship dynamics. Now, while I was there, you would see a lot of women being the male in the relationship. So this really fascinated me, and since then, and taking this independent study, I was able to dive deeper into seeing what the relationship dynamics were and what a woman's role in the relationship is. Now, this fascinated me because I've seen many relationships being with my parents, friends, just people around me, my own relationship, and the friends that I made there. And I thought it was interesting to compare the relationship dynamics here with that of those in China. So, as much as I fell in love with the culture, that was something that I was very interested in. And a lot of the people there that I met, the friends that I made, they were telling me a lot about relationships too, and they would always have questions, about us and women and being an African American woman and all those relationship dynamics, which are something that I found to be very important and interesting throughout this semester. So I decided to ask them a few questions regarding their relationships, and two people got back to me. One you'll see in video answers, and another just was able to write the answers and get back to me. So I really appreciated that. Now, I also asked myself these same questions, and I'm going to be answering them. I asked a few other people too, so I can compare the answers and, with the research that I have done to see what the relationship dynamics are. Now, we have a lot of generalization and stereotyping in these relationships. A lot of the cliches that women are submissive and the men do the handiwork and the women cook and clean. Now, a lot of people say that those stereotypes may be dated, which is what we're moving towards because nowadays women can do whatever. And before they were able to, but it was frowned upon. But the more I dove into these relationship dynamics, the more I really started to see that the two cultures are very similar with facing the same types of stereotypes. However, they differ in many ways. One of the first questions I asked was the obvious: are you in a relationship? Now, asking myself that, yes, I am. I have been in a relationship for 2.5 years, and it's my first relationship. So I've been learning a lot of new things and figuring out who I am in a relationship while also figuring out who I am as a person. The two women I interviewed from China, one was in a relationship and one was not. So they got to give examples from being in a relationship and also just seeing and observing just as I observed while I was immersed in the culture. So as you see, the first girl that I interviewed gives a little bit about how she is in a relationship. So I asked her, are you in a relationship? And what is your role in the relationship? Here's her answer.
My name, Liao Xingyu. I'm an Asian, and my race is yellow. I'm from Wuhan, China, and I'm now studying the Chengdu University. I have been in a relationship for about 3 years. Yeah, I met my boyfriend in the university, and we have been together for so long. I think two roles. One, best friends, yeah, because we have same interests and we can play games together, watch football matches together, and talk about our opinions towards some news. Yeah, just like the things many best friends will talk about. So in other time in the daily life, my boyfriend will take care of me very well, and he will protect me. So I'm just like a little sister, a naughty sister, and he's just like a gentle big brother who love her sister very much.
I also reached out to another friend named Maggie He, who was not able to give me video as to answer these questions. However, she did write in the questions and answers. So when I asked her what her role in the relationship was, as I mentioned before, she was not in a relationship. So I then asked her, what are some common relationship habits that you noticed in your environment? Here's her answer.
Girls will definitely wash their hair before they meet their boyfriend. Most of the time, boys will always say a lot while their girlfriend just sit there, be pretty, and admired.
Now, being here in America, I would say it is very similar. However, you see a lot of times that the man always has to play the part. If you're ever on social media, you always see, Bae did this, or, why can't I find a man to do this? And it shouldn't have to be like that. I will admit, sometimes I wish my boyfriend would give me flowers and cookies and cakes all the time, but that's just who I am as a person. But when I see the relationship dynamics, I see a lot of people, now it's become more neutral. The woman isn't afraid to do this or that. And I also have noticed where some people, for example, are afraid or get upset when the woman pays for a meal or if they go Dutch. A lot of people assume that if the check is separate, oh, they must not be dating them. I misread it. When really, you have to take care of your own finances. In my relationship, I don't mind paying for a meal. It goes back and forth. We're supposed to support each other. So there's no reason the woman, I love to be wine and dine here and there, but it's no harm to pay for the man or him pay for me or pay separately and take turns. So that's one of my findings from observing different people in different settings and just doing research and figuring out how relationships function. Because it is a very interesting aspect. Not every relationship is the same. Not every woman is the same. But there are a lot of differences and there are a lot of similarities as well. I also went on to ask, how are women perceived and why do you think they're perceived this way? Here is one girl's answer.
It's a lot to say, but sensitive, oversensitive, and no logical. It's no logic and desire for control. I think, and in a relationship, women will be unreasonably troublesome. Yeah, that's all. Well, a traditional Chinese will think that a good woman should be gentle, should be devoted. A good woman must support her husband in every aspect and devote her whole life to her families. A woman just need to stay at home and take care of the child and old and doing the housework, being a good housekeeper. Yeah, that's how women in China are perceived, how good women in China are perceived. And I think there are many reasons. So in the Asian China, in the Asian time, the male will go out for hunting for food, and the woman will stay at home taking care of the child and making clothes or some others. But food is the most important, and the male have strength because of the difference between the body of women and men. So it's a male dominated society, and now it is the same. It sounds very ridiculous, but I think although people now are enlightened, are much more enlightened than Asian times, but there is still some persons think that women is just a machine to give birth, and they did not think women as human.
Maggie He, also for China, had a very interesting statement.
Women who are in love must be stupid. They should behave like a cat, gentle, elegant, and charming, and don't need to say anything.
Now, I found this very interesting for the culture because when I was in China, I noticed that. Although the men would carry the women's purses and treat them nice, I did notice they were always more reserved. The man made the decisions. Fortunately, I see that a lot of in our dating and relationship culture as well. You know, depending on the subject matter, if the woman tries to break through, sometimes the initial thought is, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Whereas now, women know everything. We always have. But when we voice our opinions, people don't look at it as negatively in the first place. So it's very interesting because still in China today, you're very gentle, quiet, and you're meant to, and the cat was a great description that Maggie He used, because you just sit there prim and proper and you nod and smile and look pretty. And unfortunately, it is sad that, and that's one of the stereotypes of women in relationships. Now, we've been pressing forward and changing these roles and the dynamics in the relationships, and we have seen the progress. But there are still some people who enjoy playing these roles, which there's not a problem with. But you have to bring to light and understand, are you playing this role because you feel like you have to and that's what a woman should do? Or is that simply just how you like to be and what you're comfortable with? And that's where a lot of women get confused across all cultures. You know, sometimes it's very hard to change a culture because you have very strict ones where women have no freedoms. And unfortunately, that is sad. And that's something that we're always constantly working to break that mold, to break through the glass ceiling in every category and situation. Now I went on to ask another question. What is something you wish you can change about how women are seen in your environment? Here were their answers.
Maggie He said she would change their femininity. People think women are weak, while not everyone will protect women. But so many people believe men are much better than women. She also goes on to say they can behave like any animal if they want to, rather than just an obedient cat. They can say whatever they want to say rather than just being a listener. They can be smarter than boys and receive respect. Let girls say something. Lao Xinglu goes on to say this.
Yeah, because some of my friends and my classmates have faced these two problems. One, that there is sexism when we find jobs. Yeah, I am going to graduate this summer, and some of my friends begin to find job and go into the society. So, but yeah, there is an example. My friend is an excellent girls. Her grades and is very well, and she also have some internship experience. But when she began to apply for a job, the companies told her they only need males. Yeah, my friend is very disappointed. It's not because she can't get a job, but because they complain because there is sexism in this company.
Now, my answer on this aspect is simple. I wish that women could have endless equality and freedoms. No pink tax, no this, that, third, telling me what I can and cannot do with my body. And when it comes to relationships, let me speak out if I want to. And don't call me bossy. Don't call me the B word. I can be who I am. If I have an attitude this day, it's not because I'm on my period. It's because I have an attitude, or it's because you messed up. Don't make excuses because you can't handle a woman.
Overall, this video shows you what the differences are between women in relationships throughout different cultures. I hope you truly learned something and know that women are equal and deserve equality in any aspect. Thanks for watching.